Hey, welcome to pgblitz.com. So right now you can see we're a little bit of a transition from PlexGuide. Really, in all they're the same. But um, the purpose of this video is regards to Traefik. Pretty much to kind of show you deployment, how it works, and kind of talk about it a little bit, and kind of to show you what it does in regards to the new format. So seeing the new format will probably help you out. Um, Traefik is a great program. It's a reverse proxy, so I'll take you to their website. So if you go to Traefik.io, you'll basically come to their web page, and if you check out their documentation, it will take you here. Just to let you know, Traefik's documentation, I'll just leave it at that. You can go ahead and read through it, but it's a little bit painful. It's simple, but like, I don't know. Maybe I think they design it the way they do so that it can train others, maybe to get better and smarter, maybe read. But Traefik is very lightweight. That's the key thing about it. We don't use injects. Traefik just pretty much deploys with a simple YAML, and it requires very minimal resources. It's very light, and it doesn't require an entire web server kind of pretty much to handle your reverse proxy capabilities. So long story short, what Traefik will do for all your containers, it will basically allow them to have subdomains and a domain to point to one of your containers. So if you're deploying your containers, you'll be able to reach them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and launch it. So right now I have Plex Guide 8.58 up, and no, it looks like it's 5.7. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pick number 1. And then what this is asking you is, do you want to use Plex Guide's version, which is the 99% case, or you can use a personal forked version, which you're able to use your own. So basically you can fork ours, modify it, and it'll install your version. And the reason that's good is because there might be something, an error, a fix, or something that you like to customize. So right now you see that you're presented at this menu. So what you need to do here is you basically just need to make sure you fill everything, because if you don't, you won't be able to go through it. Unlike the previous version of Traefik, this one actually has a lot of checkers built in, so it'll prevent doing certain things. It'll check error limit rates. For those of you who don't know what that is that if you deploy too many times, it'll prevent basically Traefik from working, because you max out how many times you could deploy your domain within a certain week. So, and it will make sure that all your values are filled out. And then there's also DNS delay check. The one thing that kind of got me for a while with Traefik is that what I didn't understand is that when your Traefik container deploys, like most of you who are new, will assume that your domain's working right away and everything should be working, but it's not the case. There needs to be a delay in between, because when I would check it right away, and I noticed that I would get red errors and it wouldn't work, and then I would tinker with it, end up rebooting, and it ended up working. But I built all this in, and it will do all the checking for you. So we're going to go ahead, and you're going to start with the top level domain app. Now, what the top level domain app means is it's basically the application that's going to run when you type your actual domain. So my test domain right here is ffplex.com. This is just a junk VM that you're looking at. So we're going to go ahead and pick this. Now, if you have a particular app that you want to run, like for example, like Radar, net data, which would be a horrible idea. Anything that you want at the top, you will type here. It actually has to be already running. So right now, this is a junk VM. So the only thing I have right now running is Portainer. So I'll put Portainer, and again, if it's set like that, you can leave it like that. And what it's going to do is if you change it, it's going to rebuild your old app and your new app. So in this case right now, Portainer's the only thing running. So, but just to kind of give you a demo of what it's doing so that you're not losing your mind. And the reason it's rebuilding itself is because if that piece is not done, what's going to happen is that like if you wanted Radar as your top, but it didn't rebuild, it's going to stay on your old one. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do domain provider. So the good thing about this new version of Traefik that I built out, to you it looks pretty simple, but there's a lot that goes on right here. So this menu is actually self-adjusting along with these numbers. I didn't type all these numbers out. So my whole program here is adjusting to you. And it also adjusts to the variables that are located within it. So you may think it's a static menu, but it's not. So right now I'm going to go ahead and pick GoDaddy. And the concept is the same. So you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, what happens is once I finish this, you notice that 2 more things popped up. Again, these numbers right here are self-generating too. So a lot of things about this new Traefik is that it self-generates quite a bit of stuff, which is cool, right? So in my case of GoDaddy, I need the GoDaddy API key and the GoDaddy API secret. So some of you may pick like Cloudflare or something else who may have it in documentation. If it's a DNS that's not really used too much, or provider that's not used, just type Traefik, whatever your provider is, and you'll see in the documentation what the things you'll need. The problem is it's not always clear what it is. So for example, like Namecheap is kind of problematic to find for some people. Gandhi's is a little bit problematic for people. So if you do find stuff and you notice our wiki is a little empty in that area, please feel free to take pictures and put pointers in there to help everybody else. So GoDaddy's is pretty simple, but this is not a demo of like deploying GoDaddy necessarily. So I already have the keys already set. So these are demo keys that I have. So let me go ahead and put in the domain name first. So make sure that your domain name is already pointing to your IP address or to your A record or whatever, because if you forget, it's going to drive you nuts. I've done it before. So if you deploy things so many times, you kind of go through VMs, you'll forget to point to IP, and then you'll wonder why nothing's ever working, and you might put us on a goose chase. So email address, actually put your real email address here, or an email address that you can be contacted. So what's going to happen is junk@plexguide.com. And again, this is just a demo. But what's going to happen is that your domains renew every 90 days. What you will get is a notification saying, hey, your domains are going to renew. It's good to get those notifications. Okay, DNS delay check. Now, in the old Traefik, we did not have this option. In the new Traefik, we do have this option. So minimum you could put is 30 seconds, and the maximum you could put is 120. So the reason I gave people kind of like a range that they could play with is because that I've gotten feedback from Cloudflare users saying, hey, they need 90, right? Whereas I know with GoDaddy, you need 30. So again, you could put whatever value you want. It does not hurt to set out the number longer. I would say anything past 60 to 90 is a little bit excessive, but it's there for you. So for this demo purposes, just to make sure I got everything right, I'm gonna go ahead and do 45. And you notice there's just some notes here. It says make all your changes first, Traefik must be redeployed. So if you already got Traefik deployed and you're changing these numbers for shits and giggles, nothing happens unless you redeploy it again. And then right here it says when deploying Traefik, you'll wait at least 5 seconds as a result of the check. I believe right now I have that as 10 seconds, so looks like I need to make some changes there. Okay, so now we got to go ahead and put in our keys. Now remember, I can't help stupid. So if you don't put in the right key, again, you're going to be on a goose chase on why you can't figure out why things are working. So you want to make sure that you have your keys down. I always recommend to put it in some kind of notepad or something. You can copy from the website, but you want to make sure that there's no extra space or anything like that, because there's nothing we can do beyond that. You notice that once that was entered, it goes away. This not set. Now, in the future, if you need to put in different keys, you can just go ahead and select it again, and then just go ahead and drop it in there, and you'll be okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit paste here, and then you see I make sure that the key's in there fully, and good to go. Information is stored. So it looks like other than that, we got to make sure to go ahead and deploy it. So everything's pretty much set. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit A, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit enter. And then it's going to give you all your information back at you. It's like, hey, here's your thing, here's your email, something that's new in this rewrite of Traefik that I've added. So it kind of gives you kind of like a mental check. So deploy Traefik, yes. And so this is where the fun part begins. So right now it's slapping in all the variables, doing the rewriting, moving files around. Yeah. So this new version of Traefik took about like 35, 40 hours of coding and validation and feedback. So, but it's well worth it because ever since we rewrote the second version, we've had less problems with deployment. Most of the people that have problems with deployment have the rate exceed error, which actually, if you're on version 8.5 at least, it will warn you of saying, hey, you've exceeded your error rate in regards to how many times you deployed your domain. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, and if it's just not working, it'll say Traefik deployed incorrectly. So it will post it in the program itself, and it'll also post it in the Plex Guide UI interface for you. So it's almost done. So what's going to happen is I slapped in 10 extra seconds. So the container already came up at 10 seconds. So now it's going to go ahead and do the validation. So it's going to rebuild, and hopefully I don't get the domain error because I did deploy this quite a bit of times. But hey, if I do get the error, you know, at least it works. Okay, so there we go. 10 seconds there, my bad. So now it's checking in. So if it doesn't work, at least we'll know, right? Yep, it says that it failed. So a good reason for it is that it says that A records is not set up. You got a firewall, overuse, forgot to point domain to the correct IP. So I know I'm pointing to the right IP, that I can tell you. So what's happening is my version of Traefik tried to reach out to Portainer / the domain. So what the error was in this case was that on purpose for this demo, I purposely did not set the star per the wiki instructions. What that means is wildcard. So right now my domain is working, but not my subdomains. So you can actually see that the actual failure works. So for sanity purposes, I'm gonna go ahead and pause this video, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the star in, and then we're gonna relaunch it. And towards the end, I'm gonna go ahead and bring this up and cut it all out. But I just wanted to show you that it deployed incorrectly. And you see it says, hey, Traefik's up and running, you know? And so it might be able to see the domain. It'll probably give me the error, but if it does, at least that'll be a good thing, right? Okay, see? So we know, good times. So we know that Traefik deployed, which is a good thing. And I should be getting Portainer. See, there's Portainer. So now we know at least that worked. Okay, great. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause this. All right, so in having that failure now, we're gonna go ahead and retry. So you notice, like, again in this screen, you see that it says, hey, possibility is unable to reach subdomain. So that was a red flag, like we talked about the wildcard. And then subdomains will provide an insecure warning, which we saw, yeah, a little earlier with the main domain. So we're gonna go ahead and try this rodeo again. So we're gonna go ahead and deploy, and same variables. And then I'm gonna go ahead and save you the pain and go ahead and put this video on pause. Okay, back. So I spared you the pain of waiting around forever. So it looks like it's validated the container. So it says did validation checks, and because the validation checks occurred, it said Portainer is good to go, and then it's going to rebuild the rest of your containers. So let's press enter, and there you go. Now you see it says deployed. See? So it works pretty great. Definitely the whole error thing. So that was a good test. And then just to make sure that we're good here, I just go ahead and press enter, and bam, look at that. We are good to go. We are in business. So that's pretty much it for Traefik and what it does for you. So like again, it serves as a proxy for all your containers, so you can easily access them, and just make sure that you have your keys. Make sure you don't exceed the error rate, and make sure that you point your IP as I showed you in this demo. So you see that the error proofing has definitely helped out quite a bit. Just be aware that when you build a new server, you're going to have to redeploy Traefik and do the same thing again, because we do have a few people that run into that question. So other than that, appreciate your time, subscribe and like, and check out the video next.